Say when.
Let's hear it for the quarterback. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Could anyone play better? Say, no, no. If I gave you $1, you could keep most of the change, because all I really want is a quarterback.
You serious?
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Steel Sanctuary Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Ribeiro, with my co-hosts, Bob Quinn and David Korup, and we've got Trent Ging back on with us. Trent, how's it going?
It's going great. Appreciate you guys having me back on here. Look forward to these rankings.
Love having you back on, buddy. You can find Trent Ging on X at Trent Ging 15. He's also got his Here We Go podcast. Here We Go Steelers podcast. So let's start right off the bat with the pre-draft visits. We got a couple of new names in today. Darius Alexander came in, who's a defensive tackle out of Toledo, and kind of a surprise, Justin Wally, a cornerback out of Minnesota. We looked him up. He's got 4.4 speed. We ran 4.4 flat, and he's kind of a ball hawking type corner. He had 7 career interceptions at Minnesota. Didn't see that one coming. Anybody else even recognize the name? I even struggled with that at first.
I don't know, like an undrafted free agent. I know Trent knows some stuff about him.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a ball hawking type of guy. Plays at a school like Minnesota that not a lot of people are probably watching because they're not all that relevant. But like, I mean, a guy gets 7 career interceptions in college. Yep. That's something that's going to probably grab somebody's eye, right? So, interesting name though.
I actually heard a 4th, 5th round grade somebody had on him. So a little more than just an undrafted free agent. Could be a early day 3 type pick if he comes in. So the Steelers have 29 out of 30 reported visits. We're waiting on one more. We're all waiting for Kenneth Grant or Walter Nolan. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. It's an odd, me and Bob talked about this yesterday on our podcast. It's an odd grouping of players on this pre-draft list. A lot of 2nd round, 3rd round running backs, 2nd, 3rd round defensive tackles, a sprinkling, 6 or 7 first round possible prospects, but a lot of late stuff.
8 defensive linemen total.
Yeah. Late guys, though. The only one, Harmon, is the only potential first round pick out of that group.
Yep.
I'm really surprised they haven't had Nolan.
I'm surprised at Grant.
Well, I was listening this afternoon, and I'm sorry I forget his name, but he was on Pony Show talking about the draft, and he was down on Kenneth Grant. He said he's not a bad prospect. He just said he felt like Harmon and Nolan were clear 1-2, and there was a huge drop off down from there. I don't know if there's a huge drop off.
Yeah,
I kind of disagree with it, but I mean, maybe the Steelers are not in on Grant.
I mean, they didn't go to Michigan's pro day. I heard something today that they did have a pro day dinner there, but then they had to leave Michigan to go to Pittsburgh to meet with Aaron Rodgers, so they were at Michigan the day before.
Yeah,
which is interesting. I didn't hear that before. Have you heard that, Trent, too?
I did hear that, actually. You're the second person I've heard really kind of talk about it a little bit, but I did hear that they were there the night before, left, came back to meet with Aaron Rodgers, and obviously really didn't have anybody at the Michigan Pro Day. But I mean, are they finally actually like trying to hide their first round pick? Like, is that what we're doing for the first time ever?
That could be it. I mean, they were so predictable. I mean, you could almost narrow it down to within 3 players because they were so like it always came from the pro day. It was you could tell Colbert's type of players, and it was pretty. And I think Tomlin actually said something about that. Was it last year or the year before? He's like, we got to get a little less predictable with these picks. Maybe they're trying to throw people off the scent.
Yeah, I hope so.
Zach Smith's got a comment there. He said some teams have concern that Grant is just a 2-down player. That could be part of it, for sure.
Well,
but
I mean, I think the concern on Nolan too is he's a little bit undersized to be over the nose, and he doesn't necessarily fit what the Steelers do. So you might have to put some weight on him. and they feel like Harmon is the guy who just steps right in. I mean, I've watched a lot of Harmon, and I get it, but I don't know. If it were me, I'm still probably leaning. Honestly, I'm not picking any of these defensive linemen in the first round because I'm gambling on a weapon here, and we'll get into this in a little while. And we talked about it at length yesterday. You might have to gamble on a quarterback.
I think for
go
ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Trent. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think for me, the biggest thing is like I want to see Keanu Benton moved. I want him to be more in the 3 tech and get out of that 1 tech. And I wanted a bigger guy like Grant to be more of the run stuffer. And he has the tools, I think, to replace Cam Hayward, which is why he's so appealing. He probably could even drop some weight and be more effective. But like, I mean, if you're going to keep him at that 335 or 339 pounds or whatever he's at right now, like he'd be a perfect person to select to move Benton out of that nose tackle spot. So for me, that's kind of where I'm kind of just dumbfounded he's not been here yet.
You know, that I keep forgetting about that. That's got to be one of the main goals, whether it's your first round pick or a later round pick. Get Benton off the nose and get him on the end where he's probably going to be a lot better for this team. I think you're wasting Benton's talent just leaving him as the nose tackle for this team. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's a good point, Trent. I think that's if they don't do that with Grant, I hope they do it later on in the draft with a bulkier guy that could take that load off of Benton.
Maybe that's why they did have Yaya Black come in.
Yeah, that's one of the candidates for sure. Darius Alexander is not a nose. He's definitely an end type pass rushing more than anything else. His tape's really good.
Yeah,
he had a good Senior Bowl too. He's an interesting guy. 21 might be a tad early. But,
I was going to say he's a day 2 guy though, isn't he? Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
He's been borderline. I've seen some mock drafts have him in the first round, but you're right. Mostly they don't have a second round pick though. So
right.
Is this a trade back option?
Yep, that too.
I feel like Tanner's got a kind of a point here with the Hargrave thing. I don't think he's going to have to leave. I do think he's being groomed to be Cam Hayward's replacement, but Cam played so well last year that I think it stunted that, and they kind of ran out of things to do with Benton. They were like, okay, we're not going to sit down Ogunjobi, but we're not going to let Keanu Benton get any playing time at a place where he may flourish long term.
Yep. Here's Zach Smith again, and I kind of agree with this one. If all three hit the ceiling, I want Nolan. He seems to be the most talented guy. I have heard some red flag stuff with him. Nothing concrete, but you've heard some stuff. He asked out of the game a couple times at Mississippi and some other stuff, but talent-wise, I agree with Zach. That's the guy for me anyway.
Little Jalen Carter-ish on the tape, not completely Jalen Carter-ish. He's not a top 5 guy, but there is some similarity to his game when you watch it.
I'll take that comp though.
Yeah,
there's a lot to like with Walter Nolan for sure.
Yeah,
and I brought up one thing I want to bring up with this pre-draft visit thing. Last year, 5 of their 7 draft picks were pre-draft visits. So maybe this is the difference with Omar Khan compared to Kevin Colbert, where less emphasis on going to the pro days and more emphasis on pre-draft visits. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
I wonder if that's an Andy Weidel
maybe Andy Weidel too. Yeah, that's a good point. All three offensive linemen came for a visit. Logan Lee and Peyton Wilson all came for a visit last year. So that's a good chunk of their draft. Something to definitely keep an eye on. Let's switch gears to the Derek Carr injury and how that affects the Steelers. Obviously, I think the Saints were already going to take a quarterback at 9, or were likely to. And now they're much more likely to. There's Shedeur Sanders rumors. I've seen Jackson Dart rumors. I've even seen where they trade back or trade up in the second round to try to get Chuck. I've seen a lot of stuff. How do you guys feel about this injury and how it affects the Steelers now?
There's a world where this double screws the Steelers. They could sign Rodgers and draft Shedeur Sanders. And it's just double whammies the Steelers. Like, I don't I'm a little worried. Definitely a little worried that this is going to double screw them. Like I can easily see this happening. So yeah,
I don't see Aaron Rodgers going there. I just don't. I don't know.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah,
Wishful thinking.
What's their ceiling? They're barely a playoff team with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that division's really bad.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, Kamara, Olave, right? I mean, he'd have those pieces, correct? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, like, doesn't sound bad to me. I mean, that's pretty good. So, I
heard they're going to give Olave the Little Giants treatment, wrap him up in foam, give him a big giant helmet.
And
that
is the thing. Like, he's so injury prone. I figured they draft another wide receiver. So yeah, there could be pieces there that definitely could be intriguing for him. Definitely.
Zach's trying to provoke me already. It's too early. It's too early in a podcast for this, Zach. He says Sanders not attending the draft. Steelers told him to stay home until Mike gives him the call.
Just wait till he sees your quarterback rankings.
I did hear. I don't know if it was Bucky Brooks or somebody said that New Orleans might be more inclined to go with Dart, a rookie coach. Maybe don't want all the Sanders drama. It takes Dart is a little less of the extra stuff, whereas someone who drafts Sanders might need a more, I hesitate to even say this, a more established coach like the Steelers.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Yeah, Olave scares the crap out of me. Yeah, for sure.
Right. They're going to draft another wide receiver. Like, there's no doubt in this draft.
So what do you think? If you had a gun to your head, do you think Sanders goes there? Or is it Dart? Or do they trade back?
I don't think it's either one. I don't.
You think they pass?
I think it's a monumental mistake to take either one of those guys at 9. There's not much there, if Carr can't go. But honestly, if I'm looking at Spencer Rattler versus these two guys, I'm not saying he's better, but I'm saying this year might be a better option.
Tools are better.
Yeah.
What, to go with Rattler over?
I think the tools for Rattler is better than the tools that you have in Dart or Sanders, but I think Sanders is a better player. I just think Rattler naturally as a gifted player, I think he has the tools. I mean, this kid was talked about as like a first round pick.
Yeah.
Before he came out.
True.
After that year at Oklahoma, he was a big time prospect that people thought he was going to go top 10-ish, and then it got away from him.
I mean, it's so weird with that kid. It seems like he was in college for 15 years, but
yeah, it does.
It was, we got Spencer Rattler. He's really good. Oh, he sucks. He transfers. Oh, we got Spencer Rattler. He's really good. But then he did have a couple of decent years.
Dave and I talked about him last year. We wanted him as a later round.
Yeah, he was Plan C. Remember?
Yeah. TJ makes a good point. Roger, I heard this from somebody else too on one of the podcasts I listened to. Rogers is holding out hope that JJ McCarthy sucks at OTAs and the Vikings haven't changed their mind, or not just sucks, or has a setback, some kind of medical setback where he ends up.
Zach is on it.
What did Zach say now?
In college for 15 years.
We're not talking Chuck yet.
Give it time. You
know what, though? In all seriousness, keep an eye on this for Aaron Rodgers. And I've been saying it now a couple of weeks. And just for you guys who watch the podcast on a regular basis, you can see the national media must love our show because they catch up to our takes and then start using them a week or two down the road.
Only yours, Bob. Only yours.
Hours. Watch out for San Francisco. I think there is a lot of smoke on the Brock Purdy thing. I do not think they want to pay it.
Who do you think they're going to go after?
Aaron going home.
Aaron. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, you've been saying this, actually.
I can't believe that this is just ego with him. I really believe that he's waiting for another way. I believe he's waiting for another team to pop up. I don't know. Trent, you really think this is just feeding his ego to? I mean,
this is a guy who consistently skips OTAs and just does not care about anything. His last contract, I feel like, lasted until damn near freaking third preseason game. I mean, like He's like, I mean, I could see it going both ways with him. He's definitely pretty egotistical for sure.
See zero lies detected here with what Trent's saying. Like, yeah, it could be that.
So now the other question is this affecting the TJ Watt negotiations? Are they holding money back? Waiting to see what Aaron's going to sign for?
I don't see why they would need to hold any money back though, because you could extend TJ, and how much does that really affect the cap this year?
Yeah,
you could actually push the money out. Yeah, absolutely. So like, I don't see how this would affect the Aaron Rodgers saga whatsoever. I mean, they really, honestly, could open more money up for Aaron Rodgers if they really wanted to.
That's true. That's a good point. So.
I know Cavoli says that the bottom line is he wants to be paid $1 more than Myles Garrett, and it could turn into if Micah Parsons signs because right now I've heard it a lot today that it's okay. We're going to use the Browns as an outlier. They were done with the Deshaun Watson contract. They were done with the Myles Garrett contract. But if Dallas pays Micah what Myles Garrett got paid, then you're screwed with TJ because you cannot, even if you only do a 3-year deal with TJ, you're going to have to pay him $43 million. And now you're in a situation where we all love TJ. Nobody wants to see TJ leave. But can you really pay him more than half the quarterbacks in the league?
If you're going to draft a rookie, I guess you can. I mean, yeah, and to say Myles Garrett is an outlier, that sounds good from the Steelers side, but I guarantee you TJ Watt's agents are not saying that's an outlier. They're going to say that's the market.
Outlier. They're going to say this is
that's the market value. That's what we want.
And
yeah, I mean, even if let's just say they can convince TJ that's an outlier, and let's say Micah signs for 36, you're still going to have to pay him 36, 37 million. You're going to have to pay him more than Micah. If you get him to take less than Myles, he definitely wants more than Micah because those two hate each other.
Yeah, but isn't Micah holding off more than anybody? I think he wants the top of the market. He wants to blow them both away, and that's why he's going to wait to the end till TJ's done, and then he's going to do his contract and he's going to beat both of them.
Can we argue this is bad business?
That's absolutely bad business. They blew it.
What I'm trying to say is, and I'm not saying I hate TJ or anything like that. I don't need no hashtags or that shit. But we used to talk about teams getting in trouble with all their money is only going to the quarterback, and they can't bring in nobody else. When is it ever good business to say all our money is going to the edge rusher and we can't use it for anything else? Does that? I don't know. To me, it just sounds like it's the same talk that we've had about quarterbacks. 10 years ago, we thought that $40 million was top money for quarterback, but it was killing teams and handicapping. So I don't know, if I just don't know if this is that same thing. Only we're talking about an edge rusher. Does that make sense?
It's the market now. That's the problem. The market's exploded.
Fuck the market.
And TJ took a little less than market value last time. I'm sure that's still got a bug up his ass that he remembers that, and now he wants it all. Who knows?
I don't think it's a bad contract. If you're going to get a rookie quarterback, which I think we all know probably next year is when the rookie quarterback contract starts. If you sign TJ Watt for 3 years, even if you made some dumb mistake like guaranteeing the entire contract, you have a rookie quarterback on a 3-year deal. So the majority of your cap is not getting eaten up by a quarterback. So I don't think it's a terrible deal. Even if you get 2 years of TJ Watt being at the top of his game and then he falls completely flat on his face that 3rd year, I don't know that it's the worst case scenario. I honestly think they would be more willing to move on from Alex Highsmith than TJ Watt.
Yeah.
Well, really? I
don't know anything. I'm just saying, I would think they'd be more willing to move on from Alex than TJ. Well, TJ's a more impactful player.
To your first part about the rookie QB, you're right. I just don't know if they're planning to if Rodgers would sign, if they would be trying to do a 2-year deal or what they'd be doing to where that would get kind of tricky to do both. To pay TJ and have Rodgers. The rookie, he's right though. The rookie quarterback, technically, he's right. They're not going to be paying him a lot over the course of the next 3 years. So, yeah.
Look, we're all Steelers fans. We love good defense. It's bred into us. We love it more than any other fan base. But when you start actually looking at this defense and you think, okay, we trade off parts. Our best guy T.J. Watt, they're talking about him only fetching a second. We can't trade Minka because his contract's untradeable. Who the hell wants Alex Highsmith? We start thinking about it and we look at our pieces and we think we have a great defense, and sometimes they've played great, but then you start looking at these high-priced pieces. Does anybody want them in the league?
Well, I think Highsmith has value. He's young. He's, what is he, 27?
Yeah, he's younger.
And he's had some double-digit sack seasons. I think he's got value in the league. I think he could do better than a second for TJ Watt, too. We keep bringing up the teams. If I'm the Lions, I'm almost whatever you want. Give me TJ Watt. Let me win the Super Bowl finally. Because we all know that their Achilles heel is the defense. And it has been for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. And the clock's ticking. Because now some of those players that are under rookie deals are going to want contracts. They got to win a Super Bowl soon, or they're going to have to start moving pieces too. So we'll see. I mean, I've heard the second floated a couple times with TJ Watt. I can get more than that. But we shall see. The Steelers are never going to trade TJ Watt. It's kind of like we could talk trade all we want. That's never going to happen. This team doesn't have the will to trade a player like that.
I don't know. And you think about it, they're comparing it with the DK Metcalf situation because you had to pay DK so much. That's why you could get him for a second, because anybody who gets TJ Watt's got to pay him $40 million.
Right.
Yeah, that has to be factored in. You might have to pay. You're gonna have to pay him.
Yeah.
It depends on the demand, the team. If it's a second, I don't trade him. I
wouldn't either.
Just pay him and then move on.
No, they ain't good
If
enough.
I'm trading TJ Watt, it's like franchise altering. Give me a first round pick and a player, or 2 first round picks.
Yes.
If
That's
you
the only way.
offer me a second, then pound sand. I'm going to sign TJ and move on to something else.
You think about it. Who's the last player who got traded for a first? Non-quarterback.
In the league?
About it.
Yeah.
Somebody just got traded recently. Wasn't it a receiver?
DK went for a second.
Yeah.
I can't think of I really honestly can't think of the last guy who went for a first. The Khalil Mack deal.
Khalil Mack was definitely probably the biggest one.
Yeah, but that's 3-4 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was, because how old is he now? 32. So he's right where he was where TJ is now. So it's not a bad comp. It depends,
I don't
There's
know.
always a dumb team or two out there you can take advantage of.
Yeah, Sommer brings up the Pats. I don't know if you could stomach.
I've seen the Pats floating.
Patriots.
Then you might need TJ on board too. You know what I'm saying? Is he going to balk at a trade to the Patriots and make it tough?
If I'm TJ Watt, you're talking about trading me to the Patriots. I'm signing for $38 million. You can have the hometown discount at that point.
Yeah, he's going to want to go to a contender.
Hey, the draft in Green Bay. TJ's a Wisconsin guy. Does Green Bay call up and make a pitch?
That's another possibility. I've seen that floated. The Vikings, their defensive coordinator is very familiar with TJ Watt. That's another team. The Rams like to make splash moves. There's teams out there that would be interesting. And Zach Smith, again, makes a great point. It just takes one team.
Right.
And if I'd be targeting the Lions because they're so close. And you could definitely pitch to them, listen, you're in the back end of the first round the next couple of years. You're so close. Give me 2 firsts and then go off and win a Super Bowl. Greg Holt brings up Tyreek Hill. I don't know about Tyreek Hill. I'm a Tyreek Hill guy.
I'm good.
But he's getting a little far off the reservation for even my liking. And that's saying something because I'm pretty forgiving.
Zach's got the pitch right here. Hey, Vikings, don't sign Aaron Rodgers and we'll trade you TJ Watt.
Instead of sending him to Green Bay, use Green Bay. Dangle that over. Is it? Oh, who knows? Who knows at this point? All right, you want to go to top 5s?
Yeah, let's do it. Let me put it up here.
This quarterback rankings is gonna set people off.
Yes.
I'm here for all of it.
Okay, so let's do the quarterback rankings. We've decided to put Dave first, and you'll see why in a second.
I'm good with it.
All right, Dave, go ahead. here. Where? Oh, hold on. Maybe maybe the screen share hasn't caught up. Let me remove this.
Evidently, the computer doesn't like our quarterback rankings either.
That's how interesting Dave's are. All
Yeah.
right, let's try this again.
That victory lap, when Jackson Dart makes his first Pro Bowl, it's going to be epic.
All right, so if you saw the screen, ignore what Trent had up there.
I didn't even notice it. I just looked up quick. So I have Cam Ward first, Tyler Shuck second, Jackson Dart third, Jalen Milroe fourth, and Shedeur Sanders fifth.
What a take.
I am 100% out. I am 100% out on Shedeur Sanders. I'm sorry. I just am.
What the hell is this?
I'm telling you, his game does not translate to the NFL. He is going to struggle. I guarantee it. Tyler Shuck has won me over. I have him over my binky, Jackson Dart. I've got him second now. Me and Bob talked about this yesterday. I don't think either Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders is going to be great the first year. What is going on here in the comments? Dave is losing it. I can't even concentrate on just take my top 5 list and go at it. This is who it is. I stand by it. And I've talked about Jalen Milroe before, the traits.
You can't even explain it. You're getting killed in the comments.
This is a very harsh anti-Dave crowd here.
This is
So Dave referenced our podcast yesterday. If you watched our draft podcast, we literally had a slide up with 8 experts: Daniel Jeremiah, Mel Kiper, Todd McShay.
That's great.
And the ilk. And of those 8, Mel Kiper had him ranked number 1. Jeremiah had him ranked number 3. Or I'm sorry, McShay had him ranked number 3. Everybody else had Shedeur 2. And then Dave turns that around today and goes Shedeur 5th. He's the only guy who I've heard who does not have Shedeur as the second, no worse than third quarterback.
I did bring up in the chat. You can take all these draft experts, or you can listen to Albert Breer's column in SI today, where the actual people making the picks, the scouts, predominantly not really in love with Shedeur Sanders. Go read the article today. He talked to a bunch of NFL scouts, and they all said the same thing. They all said what I said.
But them not being in love with him does not mean he's dropped on the list.
Yes, the article said that most of them think he's not a first round talent. Go read it. I texted it to you today.
That doesn't mean that they think he's the third best quarterback.
Here we go. These two
they
are
only
never
think
going
that
I'm not going to do it.
Should go in the first round.
All right. Move it. Go
on to the next. Go on to the next one.
Let's go on to Trent.
All right, so we're just going to throw more shit on the ground and see who steps in it. Here we go. All right.
I've already rolled up my pants. Let's do it.
I love this. Me and Dave apparently here just to fuck everybody's quarterback rankings all up. All right. So I got Cam Ward. He's pretty much consensus number 1. I do have Shedeur Sanders number 2. Although I will say this, I do think he's a better, probably slotted as a second round quarterback, not a first round quarterback.
Dave's rankings is just.
You're going to get banned from this podcast in a minute. Keep this up. God damn it.
We're coming off the rails here. I love it. I think Tyler Shuck might end up being like the surprise pick of the draft. Like he's just like, 100%. If he ever stays healthy, like he's got a ton of talent. Like he's got a ton of arm talent. I got Will Howard, who I'm sure most people will not agree with, as 4th. And Quinn Ewers is 5th, because I think Quinn Ewers has all the tools. It's just a matter of whether he actually puts it together or not. I'm not taking a running back in Jalen Milroe, and Jackson Dart just is never making my list.
Hey,
wow.
I do want
the Jackson Dart hate's real.
I do want to go back real quick because I know he's not on any of our lists. Shower curtain. The only guy who picked Dylan Gabriel as a good fit for the Steelers was Tony Dungy, who shockingly made him the first round draft pick. If that happens, I'm sorry, but
cancel Christmas.
I don't know what they're thinking. Look, you get him in the 6th round. Okay, sure, no problem. Let's take a flyer.
I'm just wondering if Andrew Filipponi somehow got a hold of his fucking phone or something.
Zach is killing me. Zach is killing me today.
Kyle
he said
McCord
Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders.
If it was Pony.
For those of you listening, he says Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jalen Milroe, Tyler Shuck, Will Howard, Quinn Ewers, 50 feet of shit, and then Jackson Dart.
Props for the Moneyball reference.
I've got receipts. I've got receipts for when Jackson Dart makes his first Pro Bowl. Go ahead. Who's next?
It's interesting.
Kenny Pickett both, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting Trent says he wouldn't pick a running back, but he's got Will Howard, who's a fullback on this list.
All right.
By the way, I like Quinn Ewers a lot too. I think if you're gonna take a lottery ticket in this draft on somebody who's got the talent and maybe just didn't live up to it, I think Quinn Ewers is a guy that I wouldn't mind in the later rounds.
All right. I gotta try to keep it together here while I read this. All right. I went Cam Ward, scouting report. Here we go. Demonstrates rare arm elasticity and release speed, whipping throws from multiple platforms with elite velocity. Routinely hits tight windows other QBs wouldn't dare attempt. Natural improvisational skills pop on tape. Shows special ability to extend plays while keeping eyes downfield, maintaining throwing mechanics. So the fun thing that I wanted to share with you guys on the QB section, his player comps for Cam Ward. Number 1, Bo Nix. Number 2, Zach Wilson. Number 3, Sam Howell.
What?
Okay, so
this is
that's
not
a
me.
Big no from me on
This,
Cam. Wow.
this is not me. This is the whatever. Okay. All right. Next, Shedeur Sanders. I know it's not liked by some people. Anyways, elite processing speed and diagnostic ability that consistently shows up pre-snap, making NFL caliber adjustments and working through progressions with veteran-like precision.
Against D2 schools. Go ahead.
Surgical accuracy in the short and intermediate game demonstrated by his FBS leading 74.2% completion rate and particularly mastery of timing routes. Ready for his player comps. Michael Penix, Bo Nix, and J.J. McCarthy.
I actually don't mind those.
Yeah, that's actually decent.
Michael Penix is one that I thought is a good kind of comp.
Okay. Number 3, Jackson Dart. His scouting report displays exceptional touch and timing on intermediate routes, consistently putting the ball in perfect spots for receivers to maximize yards after catch. Natural athlete who brings good speed to designed runs and scramble situations, forcing defenses to account for his legs on every snap. Player comps: Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, and Sam Howell. Seeing a lot
Everyone's good. Bo Nix is everybody.
I'm seeing a lot of comps for the same guys. All right. Tyler Shuck. Natural velocity generator who can drive the ball to all 3 levels without straining. Shows particularly impressive juice when hitting deep crossers and seam routes in stride. Processes pre-snap looks efficiently and shows good understanding of defensive leverage. Will work through full field reads when given time. Player comps: Tanner McKee.
Wow.
Clayton Tune. And the one and only Kenny Pickett.
Oh no, they didn't.
They did.
Hands are bigger.
I don't see any Kenny Pickett and Tyler Shuck at all. Do you, Trent? Do you?
No. Not at all.
Who's doing this, Mr. Magoo?
One of them can throw more than 40 yards.
Right.
Jesus. It's the worst comps I've ever seen.
And look, number 5 was really tough for me. I really did not want to pick Jalen Monroe. I don't think he's that good, but the scouting report talked me into it. Okay. Possesses legitimate elite speed with explosive acceleration that burns pursuit angles and turns scrambles into home run threats when he hits the second level. Cannon arm with easy velocity on vertical throws, can drop dimes 50-plus yards down the field. That was what got me, because I'm thinking of our receivers that we have. And he does it with minimal effort while maintaining consistent downfield accuracy. Now, the player comps.
Here we go. O.J. Simpson.
Malik Willis.
Oh, God.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
And then J.J. McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy. They were doing good. They did the first 2. They're doing all right, and then they pulled J.J. McCarthy out of there. It's like, what?
Yeah, this isn't my fucking player comps, just what was on there. So I was just like, man, I'm not really thrilled with any of these player comps for any of these guys, really.
Those comps are horrible.
Yeah.
I don't.
Shit. That's why I wanted to share that with you guys. Because I was like, they're going to get a kick out of this. Rough.
All right. So Dave and I spent an hour talking about quarterbacks yesterday. I'll make this fast. Cam Ward is the unquestioned number one in this draft. He's not going to be around when the Steelers pick. Shador is easily the second best quarterback in the class. That doesn't mean he's good. It just means he's the second best quarterback in a very bad draft class.
Dave, you're already getting yelled at.
Jackson Dart is the third best quarterback in a very bad draft. I wouldn't pick any of these guys till the third round, more than likely. I might take Shador at first just because if he falls to you, the draft value, you take a swing. I get it. But ideally, if I was getting Shador late first, second round, it'd be okay. I wouldn't want any part of Dart until the third. I got Milroe fourth because he's the only guy with an elite trait in the draft. Unfortunately, it's speed, and unless he can throw the ball to him fucking self, then that doesn't mean anything to me. And my fifth guy, I didn't see him on anybody else's list. The Steelers did have him in for a visit today. Look, if you can get me Kyle McCord in the fifth and have him as a developmental guy, I think there's value there. And I do think he's there in the fifth. Maybe the fourth, you might have to take him, but I do think he's there in the fifth. I put a lot of stock in what Jordan Palmer said, Carson Palmer's brother. He thinks McCord is the best quarterback in the draft. You can get him late. So if I'm going to take a swing, and I know my man Somber loves Kyle McCord. I think Vaughn loves Kyle McCord. A lot of people like Kyle McCord. So Kyle McCord is a lot like Bo Nix. You can only hope at this point.
We're going to run with that now. That's going to be everybody. You're a lot like Bo Nix. You know that?
Yeah.
Wait till we get to the O-line rankings, and they're a lot like Bo Nix, too.
The Steelers, that's where they would have played Bo Nix if they drafted him.
Oh, boy. There you go. Take it for what it's worth. Good luck with those rankings.
Yep. All right. So let's, and to be fair, I as far as like, David and Dave and I, we don't feel like anybody's taking offensive line for the Steelers, but David, go ahead. There's your list.
Yeah, so this was tough for me because Banks, Membu, and Simmons, Campbell, they're all projected to go like in the top, I think 20 of the draft. So it was hard. So just based off what I read, what I saw. First one, Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle, exceptional quickness out of his stance with smooth footwork and his 45-degree set, consistently maintained proper inside foot position to stay square against rushers, masterful technique and combination blocks using gallop technique to deliver explosive pop on contact and seamlessly transition to the second level. I see a lot of Bo Nix in Dave. I just happened to look up and saw that.
That's an awesome comment. Good for Greg.
Okay. Next, I went with offensive. I'm trying. I went with offensive tackle Armand Membo. Big reason why. Super athletic, made Bruce Feldman's 2023 freak list. You guys know I love my freaks. He wrote, at 6'3", 320 pounds, Membu has only 18% body fat, a very low number for a young offensive lineman that is big. Membu also moves exceptionally well for his size. He had an electric 10-yard time of 1.63, and his 20 was 2.0. He also vertical jumped 32 inches and squatted 600 fucking pounds. Masterful body control allows him to mirror pass rushers with unusual fluidity, stays balanced through contact, and shows sophisticated understanding of leverage points and pass protection. This guy, like I told you guys, when I hear they throw out the word freak, that to me is, a unicorn that I could see going really high in this draft. You definitely want to take a chance on that kind of guy. Played for Missouri, so I don't know, his competition level. I'm not quite sure, but he's a guy that I would definitely be interested in if I had a high draft pick. Number 3, offensive tackle Josh Simmons. Exceptional lateral mobility allows him to mirror speed rushers and execute backside cutoff blocks with rare fluidity for a man his size. Elite footwork speed and kick slide technique lets him consistently beat rushers to the spots, rarely getting beat around the corner. Number 4, offensive tackle. Now, I've seen Will Campbell projected to go as high as top 5, but when I read what his elite trait was, I kind of didn't like it. And here's what it said. Possesses elite recovery ability, showing exceptional athleticism, to redirect and maintain pocket integrity, even when initially beaten around the edge. I didn't like that. I was like, well, that's your elite trait, is that you let the guy get past you, but you recover good enough. I didn't like hearing that. Demonstrates exceptional football IQ in picking up stunts and delayed blitzes, rarely looking confused against complex pressure packages. He only gave up 5 sacks in 3 seasons. It's pretty impressive. Number 5, WVU, baby, Wyatt Miller. Devastating power in his initial punch, delivers a jolting strike that instantly stuns defenders and allows him to dictate the engagement from first contact. Nasty finisher in the run game who brings his feet through contact, consistently creates movement on down blocks, and maintains blocks through the whistle. Look, guys, there's a reason why in 2023, Donaldson and White for West Virginia, one of the top running back duos in the nation. They had Zach Frazier at center, and they had Wyatt Miller. I'm honestly not being biased with this. Like I was
Yes,
looking at the rankings. He was ranked in the top 6 off of what I was using. The guy ranked ahead of him was a North Dakota State guy. Small
That's the
school.
West Virginia team guide.
God damn it. I thought I could legitimately say him at 5 and not get too much shit. But here we are.
No judgment.
Come on.
No judgment, really?
All right, let's go to Dave's list.
All right, I had Armand
That's
Membu
supposed
first.
to be Will Campbell typo. That was me. I'm sorry.
Will Carnell. He's the Bo Nix of offensive lineman. Armand Membu, for me, is the number 1 guy. Full disclosure, I haven't gone too deep into offensive lineman. I don't think the Steelers are going to take one. So I haven't, used up a lot of my time watching offensive linemen. Everything you read about Armand Membu, the Dave gave you the scouting report, the athleticism. He seems like a big-time player. I've got Tyler Banks second. What I've watched of him, I like him a lot. Will Campbell third. Campbell's going to be a good offensive lineman in this league. He's probably going to go 5th to the Patriots, most likely, from what we see between him and – what's that?
I feel like he's going to be a guard.
He could be. The Patriots need a tackle, though, so if they draft him, they're going to use him as a tackle. Gray Zabel, guard from small school, but a really, really good player. Who's my 2? Tyler Banks?
Kelvin.
And then Kelvin Banks at 5. Did you write these right?
You heard it here first. Tyra Banks. The 5th best.
You're killing me. I got Kelvin Banks. Who did I have 2, Bob? You screwed up my second one.
Oh.
Tyler Booker? You're talking about Tyler Booker?
Thank you. I saw Banks, and I'm going with it. It's not even his right name, guys. This podcast is already long.
That's what you get for putting Shador 5th.
Now I'm being sabotaged by my own guys. What the hell's going on? I do like Tyler Booker a lot. I have watched him quite a bit, and I do think he's the last straw in case everything else is gone. The Steelers could consider him at 21. If Grant, Harmon, some of the other guys are gone, he could be the guy.
All right, so for my list, I've got
Gray Zabel 1.
The guys I did scout for the offensive line are guards, and I like Tate Rutledge as a guy as a day 3 pick for the Steelers. I think although I think he may go in the 3rd round now, but I love Zabel's game, and I would love the idea of pairing Zabel with his college teammate McCormick. I think that's a nasty offensive line. I don't think they'll do it, but if he's there, I even like Zabel a little bit over Tyler Booker, who I think is very good. Membo to me is the best tackle. He's got the best natural ability. Yeah, he may not be as polished as Will Campbell and Josh Simmons, but I do think his upside's just a teeny bit higher. I like the idea of Campbell's versatility because I do think he could end up being an all-pro guard versus a pretty good tackle, although you're probably right. If the Patriots pick him, they're going to play him at tackle, but I think his long-term future is at guard. Not unlike Fatano. I think Fatano would make a hell of a guard versus a tackle, but we'll see how he does this year. Josh Simmons, the guy's just look. If you need a starting tackle next year, Simmons in the 1st round, you got a starting tackle. He may not be an all-pro, but he's a starting level tackle. And Tyler Booker, that guy. Those are 2 elite guards you can get. I think you could get Rutledge in the fourth. The Steelers can't really afford to take a guard in the first round unless, like Dave said, it just all falls apart and that's all they got left. So let's go on to our man Trent's list here.
I love that Smitty's getting this much airtime right now. He's not even on here. Smitty, you got like 7 podcasts. Get out of here. All right. Will Campbell. So I actually have him listed first, which I know is probably not going to be the consensus after everything with the combine and stuff like that. Membu really kind of moved up the list. I mean, this guy was kind of like a fringe first round guy until the combine, and he skyrocketed up the list. But I think Campbell's play speaks for itself. I think he's a guy that the arm length is probably why a lot of people are comping him to guard. I mean, listen, he plays at LSU. He plays against the best schools in the SEC. He has produced time in and time out. It's hard to discredit that. Until he cannot hold up in the NFL, I'm keeping him at number 1. Membu, it's hard to deny what he did at the combine. He shut up the list. I feel like he surpassed Kelvin Banks with the combine performance. I actually have both of those guys pretty close. I'm definitely not like an offensive line expert by any means, but I mean, he and Banks both had great careers, so it was kind of hard for me. You could have went 1A, 1B with those two as far as where they're ranked right now. Tyler Booker, I'm with you here on this, Bob. I think Tyler Booker is a damn good player. I mean, he's a really good guard. I think he's the best guard in the class. And then Donovan Jackson. I mean, talk about a guy who shows versatility. He gets 3 starting tackles get bumped out of the formation at Ohio State, and as a senior, he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll bump outside and play tackle. I've never done this in my life. What the hell? We'll try it." And then he just shuts everybody down. Like, okay, I want that guy on my team. Like, if you got that kind of an attitude where you can just step outside and perform at that level and hold this team together through the college football playoff, like, I'm all in. So I just, for maybe nothing else, the nostalgia of having the Ohio State guy who's willing to be that unselfless, like, I'm all in.
No, there's nobody better
than Tyra Banks.
There's nobody better than Wyatt Millen. Wyatt Millen, baby.
Listen,
that's a good point on Jackson.
Hold on, I'm going to say this right now. Wyatt Millen, so me and Colin did our first mock draft, and we took him in the second round to be a guard. I honestly think he's a better player than people give him credit for. I do think he's going to be a guard in the next level.
Yeah, he did really, really good at West Virginia. Like, the thing I went off had him ranked 6th overall. Out of all offensive linemen, I had him ranked 6th. And I moved him ahead of the North Dakota State guy.
He's like a run grader too, man. He just mauls people in the run game. Like, he'd be a great guard in the next level.
That was my point, was the fact that run game wise, he was amazing. They had Zabel ranked ahead of him. So, I mean, I didn't think it was that much of a hot take. I really didn't. So
I didn't predict so much West Virginia love in this podcast.
Yeah,
this is
I know, right?
I like it.
It could be worse. You could rank Shedeur Sanders 5th.
It could be worse. I could be right.
We got Trent going back-to-back in defensive backs here.
All right. Okay, defensive backs. Travis Hunter. This one's no surprise. Like, this guy's just the top defensive back in this class. I mean, he two-way player, speaks for himself. This was probably a bit of a hot take. I actually have Will Johnson as second. I know a lot of people probably will not have Will Johnson second. I think Will Johnson can probably play in a lot of different schemes. He's primarily played a lot of zone at Michigan. He's a big ball hawking type of guy. He's a big corner, and I think that's something that Pittsburgh likes. So if he fell, I don't think it's crazy to think that they may look at him and take him at 21. Even though I think we do want to move more man with Joey Porter Jr. being kind of like the guy of the future. But I think Will Johnson can probably fit better in man coverage than a lot of people think he can right now. So Jahdae Barron is a guy who's athletically just freaking gifted as a corner. I think he's a guy who probably could even start in the slot in his rookie season if they drafted him and then bump him outside after Darius Slay leaves. He's an intriguing guy. He's another guy who had a lot of his production come in this most recent season. I mean, Nick Imamori, this dude is like a freak of nature. Like, he's the absolute freak of the draft. I mean, he's got everything that you want in a strong safety. If we didn't have Deshaun Elliott, like, this guy might be a real possibility to be our first round pick. So, I mean, he's another guy, like, he's kind of lined up a little bit of everywhere at South Carolina. Like, I don't know if they would look to use him in the slot, maybe as doing a 3 safety package, but could be a sneaky guy to look at 21. Xavier Watts is just like maybe one of the best all-around DBs in this class outside of Travis Hunter, and just what he's able to do at pretty much every level of the field. So I really, really like Xavier Watts a lot. I think he's probably not being talked about enough. I know I ranked him 5th behind some of these other guys, but like he is kind of like the jack of all trades though. Like he's maybe not the master of one, but he's kind of like the jack of all trades across the field. So I like him a lot.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on. And who's next here? David.
Okay. I'm trying not to laugh. All right. Yeah. And then obvious choice to me, I think, is Travis Hunter. Scouting report possesses rare blend of twitch and fluidity and allows them to mirror receivers and man coverage while maintaining optimal leverage through their stems and breaks. Elite ball skills translate from wide receiver background, transforms into the aggressor at catch point with exceptional timing and body control to high point throws. Yeah, I think you're seeing being a dual guy. It just really gives him an advantage to know what opposing offenses might be getting ready to do. I don't know. I think that is the attraction with him, is that he's a two-way player, and I think that gives him a huge advantage ahead of these other guys. Will Johnson, his scouting report, rare blend of size and fluidity, maintains his back pedal integrity against shifty receivers while using his 6'2" frame to bully smaller wideouts at the line. Elite football IQ, shows up in zone coverage, anticipates route combinations, and jumps underneath throws with veteran savvy beyond his years. Next, I went with safety Nick Emwore. Freakish size speed combo jumps off the film. His 4.38 speed is in a linebacker size frame creates serious matchup problems for offensive coordinators. Nasty striker and run support who plays downhill with bad intentions, consistently punishing ball carriers who dare enter his territory. This is a guy that I actually might not mind the Steelers taking at 21. Like I really like him, to be honest. Number 4, I went with Siobhan Revel Jr. Raw athleticism jumps off the screen. The 4.40 speed isn't just combine numbers. It shows up when he's running stride for stride with receivers down the boundary. Transition game is butter smooth for a tall corner, drops his hips and changes direction like someone 4 inches shorter, which is rare for a 6'3" defender. Next is Jai Barron. Reason why I went with Jai Barron at 5th is just because of the size, and also because this is what his elite trait was. Elite processor who diagnosed route combinations in real time. To me, that just wasn't impressive as these other corners and what their elite traits were. Also, it says, watch him jump the switch release against Georgia, and you'll see a corner who knows what's coming before the receivers do. Brings controlled violence as a tackler despite his size, takes proper angles to the ball, and shows some serious dog when he needs to bring down bigger backs in space.
Well,
I'm getting blocked by Zach Smith coming up.
Absolutely. All right. So let's all right. So there's no question Travis Hunter is the best defensive back in the draft. I mean, he's an elite corner. He's just physical freak. Nick Emmanwori, by far to me, is the second guy. I might even from a pure defensive standpoint. Hunter has a little bit of Dion in him. He's not necessarily the biggest hitter. He's not as bad a tackler as Dion was, and he has the added bonus of playing wide receiver. But I'm sorry, you just put Nick Emmanwori out on the field and say, hey, go stop stuff. I'm on record. I think he's the best player in the draft in 5 years. And Hunter will be a nice story because he'll play both, and he'll probably be an all-pro as a corner. But Emmanwori is a guy who I just see Kyle Hamilton, bigger, stronger, faster, maybe even a bigger hitter than Kyle Hamilton. Best boundary corner in the draft right now is Trey Amos. And the reason I say that is because my guy at number 5 is hurt. Trey Amos is the most polished guy who you could stick him outside and play him on the outside, and you'd be fine. You stick him out there with Joey Porter, which I don't think is going to happen. And you've got a nice 1-2 tandem for a long time. I like Jahdae Barron, and I put him over Siobhan because of Siobhan's injury. Jahdae Barron is an elite slot corner. I think in today's game, having an elite guy at the slot, not necessarily the worst thing. I would never play him outside. I think he will get exposed. Any team who picks him as cornerback 1 or 2, I think is going to have a real problem on their hands. And Ravel, before the draft, when the draft process first started, and I thought he might be healthy by the combine, I still see Mel Blount when I watch his tape. I see Mel Blount, big, strong, fast, good hitter, great player. If he could have ran, I would have him on the top of my list. I would take him over Travis Hunter as a cover corner. That's how good I think Siobhan Rivell is. So that's my list.
Do you think Trey Amos is a first-round pick?
Yes. Because he ran 4.4, yes.
I struggle with that. I put out the list of possible first-round picks on the Steelers pre-draft visits, and Farabaugh tweeted at me after. He said, you missed Trey Amos, and there was somebody else. But I thought Trey Amos was – I don't know if I have him as a first-round pick. I think he's like a second-round guy at best.
Of the guys who's healthy, I mean, to me, I'd take him over Will Johnson all day long.
I like Trey Amos. I'm not saying I don't like him. He wasn't in my mind as a first-round type of guy. All right, my list, Travis Hunter, we've talked enough about him. He's going to go in the top 3. He's the best corner in the draft, unquestioned. Nick Emenwari has really grown on me through the draft process. It's the potential of all that physical ability that really intrigues me about him. I think he can play in the slot early on and then maybe take one of those safety positions later on. Jahdae Barron, I think if you draft Jahdae Barron, you've got an elite slot corner, and then you could have potentially an elite out boundary corner after that. I know Bob doesn't like him as an out boundary corner, but I do. Will Johnson, I like him a lot. The big corner. There's not many of these big 6'2" corners in this draft. He's one of them. And I threw Maxwell Hairston in there. Super athlete, 4.2 speed, jumped out of the building. I think he's going to be a slot corner too, probably, maybe outside. I like him too. So those are my 5 guys.
I'm surprised no one had Azareye'h Thomas in here. None of us.
He's good. But
I think he's got better. I think he's got better traits than Siobhan Rivell.
You think so?
You mean Joey Porter III?
Joey Porter III.
He's not as fast as Rivell. He is. If you watch his tape, he is Joey Porter Jr. That's what he is. He's a handsy, big, tall, one corner who, if you want to play press man coverage and are okay with giving up some penalties, he's a nice player. But if you go back and look at Rivell, because he got better every year, and before the injury, and you just don't find 6'3" guys who are that fast at the corner position.
I think I like Azareye'h Thomas a lot. I think he'd be a good fit for the Steelers. But
so we want to do some over-unders?
You want to squeeze a couple in? Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me pull up my list here. All right. Over-under quarterbacks in the first round. I set it at 2.5. Bob, you go first. You think we're going to get the third quarterback in the first round?
No.
You're under. Dave?
I'm under.
Yes.
Trent?
I'm going to go yes, too. I think somebody sneaks in there unexpectedly.
Yeah, I'm going to go over, too, because I think someone trades back in.
I think Cleveland or the Giants end up trading back in.
Yep. And I think that guy's going to be Shuck. Oh,
I do too.
Well, or it could be whoever doesn't get drafted.
I think it's one of either Jackson Dart or Shuck.
Yeah.
I mean, if Melrose getting invited to the fucking draft, maybe him.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing you keep going back to.
Apparently, they think somebody is going to take him.
All right, running backs in the first round. I also put that at 2.5. We think we know Hampton and Genty are going.
Yeah.
Will there be a third one sneaking in? Trent, you go first this time.
I'm going to say no. I think it's just the 2.
Same.
Bob?
Yeah, I can't see a third guy sliding in there. Well, maybe Trevion Henderson, but no, I would say no.
I'm going to go over. I think Trevion Henderson does get plucked somewhere in the back end of the first round. I think that's definitely a distinct possibility. Let's see. What do we got next? Wide receivers, over under 3. Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over.
You think more than 3?
Yeah.
Bob?
I'm definitely going over. I think 5.
I think 5.
Wow. That'd be interesting.
Trent, what do you think?
I'm gonna take the over. I don't think it's 5, but that'd be crazy if it got 5 guys in there. That's a really good draft for Pittsburgh if you get 5 receivers taken in the first round.
Yeah. I set it at 3 because I think it's going to be 3. I'll go slightly over, but it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Higgins is the guy.
That's the one. Yeah,
that's the other guy. Faraball tweeted at me with that Higgins could be a first rounder too. That's a distinct possibility at this point, right? I mean, he's got a lot of buzz.
I don't know if we're arguing if Hunter's going to be wide receiver.
No, I don't count Hunter.
I would either.
Some people have McMillan ranked high. Some people have Burton ranked high. Golden, I think, should be an automatic going to happen. And then some people like Igbuka and Higgins. So that's why I think it would be over 3.
Yeah, it could be.
I would just absolutely love it if Jaden Higgins goes. I think 21 is probably a little bit too high. But then again, if you have him as your slot receiver with DK Metcalf and George Pickens, you could bring fucking Kenny Pickett back to throw that into those guys. Even he couldn't miss those guys.
Don't even conjure that up. And that would be the Steelers are in a weird spot because at 21, if they like a guy, they don't have a second round pick.
Yeah.
So they have to factor that into their decision making that they really like a guy. It's not going to be here in round 2. They got to weigh that against maybe somebody else that they like in the first round too.
This makes me feel a lot like the Terrell Edmonds draft, where we way overdrafted him.
They're gonna reach. Yeah. They're gonna fucking reach because of second round pick.
He definitely could be because this draft is kind of weak. So it's like, yeah. That's why, like, if they draft him and worry, then at least they got a top guy at that position who can help you. Don't reach for, like we've talked about it, like the 3rd or 4th best defensive tackle, or hopefully they don't panic again. And 3 tackles are gone. Well, we're going to go grab a tackle and grab somebody. That would be shitty.
Yeah.
Over under trades in the first round. I put it at, what did I put it at? 1.5. I think there's at least 1. Do you think we'll get more? This draft could get wild. Because
every draft could get wild nowadays.
Yeah. But it's such a weird draft, though.
I'm going to say no because I thought Pittsburgh would be the second trade. I thought Pittsburgh was going to trade down at one point, but I'm having a hard time finding like a trade down partner that makes a ton of sense for Pittsburgh. Like, that's
a problem with most, like, I got a couple of Patriot fans at work and they would like to trade down, and I'm like, who's trading up once Cam Ward and Carter and after those 3 guys are gone, who's trading up to get what? It's not going to happen.
I think maybe Buffalo would trade up if a guy like Golden was there from a wide receiver standpoint. Beyond that, I don't. Minnesota maybe as a trade partner, especially if we use the TJ Watt leverage. Maybe we can do something like that. But who knows? I would say I do think though there's going to be some trades. I think as the quarterbacks fall, and I do think they'll fall. There may be some stuff that happens at the end of the first round. So yeah, I'm going to go over.
Zach makes a joke about the Eagles trade up for the defensive line. They could be a team that moves up. They kind of like to zig when everyone else is zagging. So. They could trade up and grab somebody. That would not surprise me.
Isn't there a report they're like the favorite to land TJ Watt if he's traded?
Yeah.
I did see that. Yeah. And I saw another one where the Patriots were the favorite. So take that for what it's worth. It's kind of.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to say yes. There'll be 2.
I'm going to go over 2. I think there's going to be 2 trades in this one.
I mean,
even though I just said
isn't there 2 trades like in the first round like every year now?
Just about.
It feels like there's 2 at least.
Was there in the Kenny Pickett draft?
Yeah.
What was that?
I mean, was there in the Kenny Pickett draft though? When you're quarterback,
that's a good point. That's a similar draft to this one.
Quarterback light right now. Like a lot of the trades happen for quarterbacks. So if you're in a light quarterback draft, I don't know. We have 2.
I don't remember. Was there any of that draft?
No, there wasn't.
I don't think so.
It's not
off the top of my head. I can't remember any.
I wish somebody would have traded up and took Pickett ahead of us, but hey.
Somber's got a good point. I haven't thought about Detroit here, but. Let's say Walter Nolan or Derek Harmon is there. That's a need for Detroit because they can't stop the run for shit.
Yeah, they definitely defense was definitely got to be high on their to-do list. So they're a possibility. I threw this one in here. I don't know if you guys did homework. This takes a little bit, but SEC players in round 1 at 11. I counted 15 possible SEC players.
Yeah, that there I would have no idea.
I would say under just because it was a down year, but
yeah, they got a lot of guys. So when you don't realize Membu's an SEC guy,
Yeah, right.
Emin Worry's an SEC guy.
I would say yes. I would say yes.
If I had to look at a top overall,
you know, the Texas. You forget Texas is SEC, so you got Barron, you got Banks.
That's where I'm going with it. I started thinking about that. You start getting like Texas making the run they did. I think you're going to see a handful of those guys come off the board.
And you know, Mississippi has Dart and possibly you got Nolan. You start adding them up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm counting here. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have over 11. It seems like.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but I got a couple more.
Outside the skill positions, I mean, you know, Golden's the only skill position player from the SEC. Maybe Burden. I feel like Burden's falling. So I could see Burden will fall into the second round. It's going to be close. It's not going to be way under. It's going to be. I think it's 10.
Yeah, it's right there at least.
I think Burden should continue to fall as far as he can fall.
You mean to 21?
He is let's
get him to 83.
No, I think Burden should fall to the bottom of the second round. His attitude is garbage.
The red
and I mean,
is bad.
He is George Pickens without the size.
He blamed the quarterback for a lot of his
Sounds like a common guy.
He was like the primary target who just quit running routes. Like, I mean, that's George Pickens to a T, you know, at times, like with us. So I mean,
already.
He sounds like he's gonna fit real well in the slot.
Yeah.
Zach beat me.
No, he's no Bo Nix.
The real question is he Bo Nix?
All right, a couple more corners in the first round. I said it at 3.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Travis Hunter, you got Jahdae Barron, probably locks.
Will Johnson, I think, is going to be
Will Johnson.
high.
So that's
I'd
3.
say I'm going over. I think Revel. I'm not high on Revel, but I think he does sneak into the first round.
I think Amos has end of the first round written all over him. A guy,
what do you think?
Detroit could really like it.
I could go with 4. I could see 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Revel, Barron, Johnson, and Hunter. Yeah, I could see.
All right, last one. And my phone went out. Shedeur Sanders, over under the 21st pick. Basically, will he be there at 21?
No.
Dave says no. Trent?
This one might be the hardest one of the group because if he slides past the Saints,
that's my point.
It's a real possibility he ends up down at 21. I'm going to say he's there at 21.
Wow.
My point is somebody trades up ahead of the Steelers to get him if he gets past the Saints. That's what I see happen.
It's possible.
It's possible.
If he slides past the Saints, I don't think the Saints go quarterback here because if you're going quarterback here, you have to pick a guy who's ready day one to step on the field. I could see Sanders being an okay fit in that offense and the dome and all that, but I don't know. I think if you're the Saints, but it is the Saints. So, no, I'm going to say he's there at 21 and the Steelers have a real tough decision to make.
I'm looking, and the only team I could see after the Steelers that could want a quarterback is the Rams. That's it.
Well, don't discount the Giants or the Browns trading.
Well, the Rams are behind the Steelers, so that's.
When I mentioned the trade up earlier, he's the guy I think they would trade up for. If he slides past the Steelers, I think the Giants or the Browns would both be willing to trade up to go get him.
Yeah, you look at this list of teams between the Saints and the Steelers. There's nobody needs a quarterback in this list. It's not even close. Tampa,
that's what I'm saying. But after the Steelers in the first round, it's only the Rams that you can see wanting a quarterback. That's it.
I mean, with Seattle's at 18. Would they draft and stash a guy?
No, not with the way they just paid Darnold.
Yeah, they just took Darnold.
I'm sorry, not Seattle. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm looking at this list. Yeah,
he's the most intriguing guy in the draft to me because like he could literally go anywhere. He could go at 9 inside the top 10 or slide clear out of the whole first round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're
Like
right.
he's so wild to predict.
Because of the way the board falls, you're absolutely right.
You can make the argument to me that he's going to go either direction, and I'd be like, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dark horse is Vegas. I'm telling you, watch out for Vegas, especially if he slips past the Saints. I could see Vegas trading up to get him and stash him behind Geno for a year.
Do you think they would pass up Ashton Genty to get him if he was still there?
Trade back in the first round. After
Oh, trade back out.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Brady coached Shador. He's on record saying quarterbacks should sit. They've got Geno. I could see them making that move and
that could make sense.
Shador for because Geno, he's mid-30s. I mean, great story. Love the guy, but come on, he's not playing 10 years in Vegas.
Let's take it easy on the WVU guy. Let's just.
I said he was okay.
Let's take it easy. Okay.
That's why I think
he's no Wyatt Millum.
That's why I said if he gets to 21, I'm on the phone if I'm Omar. Let's go. Give me your best offer.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. New York, Cleveland, maybe. I've heard Cleveland wants to pair Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders. They want to trade back in the first round and grab. I've heard that rumor. Send me a best offer. That's what I would do if I was the Steelers. I would not.
Even
we
the
shall
Browns,
see.
Nah, I ain't trading them to the Browns. Fuck them.
I would, if they're dumb enough to give me multiple draft picks for that pick.
It would depend on the compensation.
What if they gave you their second this year's draft and then a first in the next year's draft?
Oh, I would drive Shador Sanders cross country to Cleveland from wherever he is from Colorado to Cleveland.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Next year's first for Cleveland.
That would be crazy.
And the price would be high because you're talking about their next franchise QB. So,
yeah.
All you need is two teams bidding against each other.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
Zach says if he gets to 21, stop printing the jerseys. Oh,
damn.
This turns into Celtics sanctuary pretty quickly after the Shador Sanders draft pick. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't think I can live with it.
Yeah,
I don't think I can live with it.
And there's real buzz that that Dion would love to have him coached by Tomlin.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure.
I don't know why, but there is real buzz about that.
I'll buy Dave's.
This is gonna happen just to spite me.
It is. I can't wait.
All right, let's do Dave's draft bash game. We're playing a draft game for you guys this year. This is a fun game. I played it. That's how I met you online, Dave. You sent me this in a message 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
And
it might have been
we played it, and it was a lot of fun. So, Bob, you want to roll through the rules and what we're going for here with this game?
Yeah. So the way it works is you pick the top 3 players in the draft, and then you pick the Steelers picks. So you pick the name of the player you think is going to go, and then the trade category, you think that yes, that pick will get traded, or no. If you get no, if you pick no, you get points. If you pick yes and it happens, you get more points. You also pick the position. So if you get the player wrong or the trade wrong, the trade should be pretty easy to get right. But there's 4 categories you can score in, and then the player rank above or below. What that means is we're going to use the CBS Sports rankings. I think it was out to 300, right, Dave?
It's like 400.
Yeah, it's like 400. So, and all you're predicting is if the guy who goes first, if his draft ranking will be above or below the position he picks. So, like Cam Ward, he's usually ranked 8th to 10th. So if he goes first overall, you predict below, you're going to score points for that. And then you go all the way down through. And then there's some additional categories on the right overall for the draft. Most players, offense or defense, drafted round 1. College that has the most players drafted, period. The whole draft, not just the first round. Most drafted offensive positions, most drafted defensive positions. We got an over-under whether Sanders goes before Dart, the Mr. Irrelevant position, and the Mr. Irrelevant player name. So we have this we're going to put this out. If you're on the Steelers Sanctuary subscriber list for the website, you'll get this. We're going to put out a story with this and how to enter. Otherwise, if you email daveR@SteelersSanctuary.com, we will email you your sheets. And then all you got to do is email them back to us. Remember, we're going to live stream round 1 and 2, or day 1 and 2.
Day 1 and 2, yep.
And then whoever wins will be giving out prizes. We'll do like a top 3, depending on how many entries we get. If we get 10 entries, only one person wins. But if we get more than 20, 25, we'll do like a top 3.
Yeah, we're going to do a post on SteelersSanctuary.com with all the rules that you need to, so it's a little bit more clear, because it's a complex game. There's a lot of things to go, and so all the rules will be there. You can go to SteelersSanctuary.com, read the rules, fill it out, email it to daveR@SteelersSanctuary.com. It should be a lot of fun. We're gonna give prizes away. We'll see who knows their draft stuff, who's good at predicting. The gist of it is picking the Steelers draft picks.
Yeah, it's
seeing how many you can nail, and all the other stuff is tiebreakers.
This is something this is something I invented like 10 years ago. I thought it'd be a fun thing to have some kind of game to play while watching the draft. And I designed it to where it'd be something going on from the beginning of the draft all the way to the end. So have fun with it, guys. Let's do this.
Yeah. And you guys can DM us on X. And if you want to, participate that way, it just, unfortunately we couldn't figure out a way to make an easy entry form on the website itself. So we got to do it by email this year. It's really popular. Maybe next year we'll have an app. But yeah, this is a lot of fun, and it should be something that keeps everybody engaged throughout the draft.
All right, we got anything else before we wrap this up?
Nope.
Don't forget, we got Alan Saunders on Thursday. Like Bob said, we're 10 days out from the draft. We're going to live stream day 1 and 2. That should be a lot of fun. Anybody who wants to hop on, Trent, anybody, just let us know. Send me an email. We'll have guests. We've already got a couple of guests lined up. That's going to be fun. They'll be drinking. There'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Covering this draft.
Definitely drinking.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely.
I will be in my prime. Trust that.
Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. That's easy for you to say. Hit the like button for us, guys. That helps us out a great deal. Until next time, thanks for listening to the Steelers Sanctuary Podcast.
Ain't nothing over till it's over.
What's that from, the 80s?
It's probably in the 70s.
This is disappointing as hell.
Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Yo, come back now, you hear?
Probably worth the Google.
Saw that coming.